different for me. I don't actually ever do a presentation like this, so it's a little bit unique. Whenever I do, it's usually in a school to younger people. So yeah, be nice to me, okay? I'm actually going to start this by showing you a show reel of my work, which takes a lot of pressure off me for the first 2 minutes. So here goes.
What's your name, please?
Nathan Wyburn.
Where are you from, Nathan?
I'm from Evervale.
Artist Nathan Wyburn.
Artist Nathan Wyburn.
Nathan Wyburn.
Artist Nathan Wyburn. Artist Nathan Wyburn.
Amazing artist Nathan Wyburn.
It's Nathan Wyburn.
It's Nathan Wyburn.
Hi, Nathan.
Nathan Wyburn. There he is. You, Nathan Wyburn. Artist Nathan. So Nathan Wyburn is an artist.
Artist Nathan Wyburn.
Nathan Wyburn. Lovely to see you.
Wyburn.
Nathan Wyburn is an incredibly creative collage artist who uses some very strange materials.
I love it.
Good job.
The most bizarre ways of making art, the weirder the better.
He is an absolute South Wales boy, and that's enormously important.
So, hi guys, I'm a portrait artist. During my studies, I sort of got bored of using pen and paper and decided to go a bit more crazy and use everyday materials and foods. I use lots of different materials, from pizza to baked beans, spaghetti, anything. I've actually created it using grass from the Principality Stadium.
Nathan really feels that everything can be art.
Artist Nathan Wyburn specialises in using unusual materials to create celebrity portraits.
He made it with lipstick and lip kisses specifically, so he's kissed it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, this is insane!
Wow. Oh wow. You're so talented.
Oh my god!
Nathan's a great artist, brilliant, unique, but what is he going to do next?
Take a look at this. That is so beautiful.
Okay, so I asked a friend to put together a show reel for me. Didn't really think it'd end up looking like a movie trailer. But yes, it's quite an easy way of explaining who I am and what I do. Basically, I make art using anything and everything. I believe that art should be accessible to everybody. I don't like, quite often, the hierarchy that people think art should be in, and that it has to be in art galleries and only certain people, probably of a certain wealth, can view it. I don't really believe in that at all. I believe art should be accessible to everybody. So I basically make art using things from around the house, which anybody and everybody can do. I was first inspired by a newspaper article about Simon Cowell when I was 17 years old. It said you love him or hate him, which is probably quite true. And I thought I'd make a portrait of Simon Cowell using Marmite on toast. and uploaded that to YouTube when YouTube first started, and it went viral. One of the first viral videos ever to be on YouTube by an artist, which is pretty cool. And I realized maybe there's something there. Maybe using everyday materials could be something I could make a career out of and open up doors to people that maybe thought art wasn't necessarily for them because of said hierarchy. I started to get noticed by brands and companies and TV shows all around the world, which you saw in the VT there, and realized that my work could possibly hold a bit of a stronger message at times. Where I moved to Cardiff to study fine art. I started to fundraise a lot for the Cardiff and Vale Health Charity. I became their first ever patron and realized that I could probably make artwork for them in so many different ways using all these unusual materials that had a powerful message behind them. So one of my first pieces I ever created, health related, was a gigantic portrait of an Iron Bevan. Originally being in Ebervale by myself, the valley over from Tredegar, where an Iron Bevan is from. This was quite a nice, proud thing for me to do as a Valleys boy. This is actually on the mountainside of Trevel, just north of Tredegar, where an Iron Bevan used to go for his long walks and practice his speeches and try and get over his stutter and his stammer, which I'll probably do a lot of during the next 20 minutes. But this is actually just using soil and gravel from the local quarry. So it's very eco-friendly, it's very sustainable. The rain came and quite literally washed it away, which a lot of people might think, you've put so much effort into your work and then it disappears. Same with the food art, once it's recycled or eaten or given to pigs and horses, which is quite often the case. It's kind of become part of my work actually, the fast-pacedness of the world that we live in these days. Things come and things go. And that's kind of become a message throughout my work as well. So I was very, very proud of this gigantic Iron Bevan piece, even though there were sheep walking across it during the day when I was trying to make it, and it was quite a frustrating piece to make, but really enjoyed it. So 2020 hit, and of course we all know what happened then. I kind of lost everything. I was just about to go on a bit of a world tour with my artwork. I was due to go to Japan and do some projects out there. I was due to go and do some TV in Australia, and I had a few UK-based projects coming up as well. And everything went. We couldn't travel, couldn't do anything basically, March 2020, and I thought I'd started something, the ball was rolling for my career, and I thought it was all going to go. As somebody that suffers a little bit with nerves and worry about what's coming next anyway, I kind of went into panic mode and just thought, do you know what, I think this is probably it for my career now, which is a bit dramatic for a 29-year-old to think, but that's me. And I then realized that no, actually, this is probably the best time for people to see my work. People are at home, people need some positivity, people need things to watch, people need things to do, and I realized that art is probably one of the best things for that. So I think we can all agree that aside from Netflix and all those other things that we did during that time, a lot of people got creative, and that was amazing to see, and I really tried to push and both capitalize on that as much as I can. So all my friends work within the health board. I had to watch my best mate, my housemate, put on his green scrubs and work that door every day and go into what felt like a war zone for him, and not really knowing, sometimes whether he'd come back, because it was quite a scary time in those first few weeks. So I felt like I needed to create something that said thank you to our health workers. So this is a collage created, you may have seen it, outside some health sites around Wales and beyond. Actually digitally created using images of people on the front line. So I put out a Facebook call out for people to send in selfies of themselves, because we're in a world where everybody likes to take a selfie. And I wanted it to be quite lighthearted, but also have a bit of a punch behind it. So obviously it's a frontline healthcare worker wearing a mask, which became such a familiar thing to us during that time, using images of everybody on the front line. This was used as a symbol of hope and thank you I've been told by many people throughout the pandemic, and it was in the opening credits of ITV's This Morning for 6 months, which was really cool. It made front pages of the Echo, the Western Mail, a lot of Welsh newspapers, and it also was on the screensavers of everybody's NHS computers, which is kind of crazy, and I never really expected it to have that kind of impact, but art can do that. So I'm very, very proud of that. And here's an image of it on display outside the University Hospital Wales, next to another piece I created called Vaccine Hope, which was a similar process, but using the year later and using images of people's vaccine cards with their obvious name and date of birth blurred out. But very, very proud of that. You might have seen that around the place as well. It was also on display outside the Dragon's Heart Hospital in the arena. Very, very proud of that, and a lot of people gave me amazing feedback that made them feel positive and hopeful, not just leaving work, but going into work as well in such a difficult time. I also then created something similar for care homes, and this kind of digital collage thing became a bit of my thing during 2020, and it's a really fun thing to do. It's not as hands-on and physically painterly, for want of a better word, as a lot of my other work, but it's a really fun way of getting a message out there. So also during the pandemic, I was approached by the Cardiff and Dale Health Charity to create a piece in honour of Gareth Thomas and his story coming out with HIV. And I know Gareth personally quite well, and it was something that we discussed, and he was really, really nervous about it because it was such a invasive thing to have your face large displayed on a corridor in the sexual health clinic here in Cardiff, but he was very trusting in me to make this piece, and we decided to make it using fingerprints because obviously the test for HIV is the finger prick thing, and to get the little drop of blood. So it's to simulate fake blood, fingerprints, and this is now proudly on display on that stairway in the sexual health clinic here in Cardiff. And I've had many messages from people that go in sometimes for the first time to get tested, not just for HIV, but other sexual health related things. And it kind of just gives them a little bit of hope that actually, you know, even if this does come out not the way I want it to, there is still a life out there afterwards. And Gareth was very, very proud. He broke down in tears when he first saw this portrait, so I was very, very proud of that. But again, quite a innocent, childlike way of making art, using fingerprints and handprints. We all probably did that, but to make quite a serious, powerful message. I was asked by, again, the Cardiff and Dale Health Charity and Channel 4 to make an artwork, quite a powerful piece of work, using words of abuse that our health service were given throughout the pandemic. Obviously, not everybody was grateful and nice towards our healthcare workers, and they should have been, because they were going through a lot more than most of us can imagine. So this is actually an image of a healthcare worker with a bruised face from the PPE, constructed entirely using images, stamped words from social media that they were given of abuse. So I've zoomed in on a little bit there, but some of the other parts have got quite horrendous words within it, and it was displayed outside the Wales Millennium Centre for everyone to see, and the project was called Words Bruise, because they do. Another HIV-related piece, I was asked by Terence Higgins Trust to create a portrait of a young Terence Higgins, created entirely using stamps, which was to celebrate, I think it was the 40th year of the Terence Higgins Trust, and not many people knew that he was Welsh, so I wanted to replicate the Welsh flag in some way by using the green and red there, almost turning Terry Higgins into the Welsh dragon himself, which was quite a fun one to do, and that is now displayed in St Fagans. This was a really cool piece that I did, which is on display in another hospital here in South Wales, the Forget Me Not chorus, which is a chorus for dementia patients, and it's using words from a song that they all wrote together. And there's a video of me creating this, and it's narrated by a young Welsh actor, Callum Scott Howells, who was in the TV show It's the Sin, and just recently has been in cabaret in the West End as well. So the video of that is really quite beautiful when he's reciting the lyrics to this song. This was a project I did with the Betty Cadwallader Health Board, and this is a digital collage using nurses, images of nurses, and then also memorabilia from the Royal College of Nursing, and make sure I get this right, Royal College of Nursing throughout the years. So there's trophies, projects, books, certificates, everything within this gigantic artwork. It's hard to tell there, but it's actually probably the size of this wall. It's quite a large piece of artwork there. This is probably one of the most difficult pieces I've ever had to make. It's actually a self-portrait created using cigarette butts that a school in Barry Island collected off the beach. So I also tried to have a sustainability and recycling message to my work as well. And yes, I wore gloves, and it was not a fun one to do. It absolutely stank, but the message behind it was quite powerful. This was for Ash, Wales, obviously with a no smoking message behind it as well. I talk quite openly about mental health and my own journey with it as well. And I'm not shy to say I take a sertraline every day in order for me to have a balanced mood usually throughout the day. And this is actually created using my sertraline packaging that I collected throughout the pandemic when I realized that this is something that I needed help with. I talk very openly about it, as I said, and this is a portrait created entirely using my own medication. So this is now on display for everyone to see. I think it's something we should all talk about. It was always a taboo subject for many years, and thankfully in recent years it's something that people feel like they can speak about a little bit more. And if this portrait inspires somebody to do that, then job well done for me. More health-related things, I guess. I was honoured to be asked to design the t-shirt for the Cardiff Half Marathon. I don't know if anybody in here has ever done the Cardiff Half. If you did it the year before last, you would have one of these t-shirts. I was very proud to do so, and it's actually the portrait behind was printed onto the shirt. It's created entirely by using my feet, by walking in paint. So essentially, when you watch the video, it looks like I'm running around a huge canvas, and then this image appears, which was a really fun one to do. Again, related to health, fitness, and looking after oneself. I'm also now an ambassador for Prostate Cymru, another charity close to my heart, and I was asked to create a piece for their anniversary recently as well. This is the unveiling of it in Cardiff Museum. Another digital collage, but this time created using, I'm not sure if you can quite see, but there's 3 different images there put together of a grandfather, a son, and a grandson, indicating the generational situation with Prostate Cymru. It is inherited more often than not, and it was quite a powerful piece to create, and I knew the family quite well as well. And 1 in 3 men are now the statistics for prostate cancer. So the 1 in 3 is there as well. I was very, very proud of that piece. One of my most recent projects is actually using all the vaccine lid capsules, which was collected by the health board down in Hywel Dda, so down West Wales. And this was a really amazing project to be part of. Not every day do you get your hands on so many little parts of history, and that's what it felt like. And so these were images. I was very conscious of making them generic images. You know, they could be anybody, they're not celebrities. You can't tell the colour of their skin, you can't tell their age. Quite literally, it could be anybody that worked within that part of the health board. And it was a thank you to all those people working on the vaccine project down in Hywel Dda, and this is now touring around the health board down in West Wales. Extremely proud of that, and we decided to call it a dose of art, so there's a nice little link there. So there's a close-up, you can see all the tiny, tiny vaccine capsule lids. It was a really, really unique project to do, and again, vibrant, colourful, linking back to the pop art and the fun inspirations in my early work. Similar to that, another one of an Iron Bevan to celebrate the 75 years of the NHS, using empty pill capsules. And also this other portrait here of Naira Bevan is created using vaccine packaging that was on display in the mass vaccination centre in Cwmbran. So all that's left to say for me is thank you, and believe that anything can be art. It should be fun, it should be sustainable. There's a huge recycling message behind my work as well, and just never limit yourself as to what can be used to create art. And you'd be surprised how many people it helps, the health benefits, mentally and in so many other ways of having art within our hospitals, within our shopping centres, even within the pub, wherever it is, art helps. It makes a difference. And yes, sometimes they can pack a punch when words can't. Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks, Nathan. That was absolutely fascinating. I think we will have time for a few questions. That was just so, that was actually very emotional. I found that very emotional, especially the COVID stuff. And so prolific. It's just, I can't believe how much, I mean, it must all take so much time, so much of it. It's stunning. I'm just going to ask you one question I need to know. Do many people manage to find themselves in collages?
Yes, quite often.
So many pictures in that.
Yeah, there's so many images within the collages. Whoever sent me them in through social media, which is where I do most of my outreach, is I will send them the okay that their portrait is within the artwork, so they always know about it. And quite often I get people sending me pictures, you know, next to it, just going, look, it's me, which is always quite nice.
Yeah, nice feedback. Any questions from anybody for Nathan before he goes, before he sits down again? Yep.
Hi Nathan, it's lovely to see another Welsh artist.
Hi.
Lovely to see another Welsh artist. You mentioned at the start there that you think art can be quite hierarchical, but clearly your art is widely popular. Have you bumped up against any kind of hierarchies over the time where you felt that your art didn't quite fit in, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, when I was actually studying in university, my tutor at the time, I don't think I've ever publicly really spoke about this, but didn't really seem to enjoy my style of work, and I found that really disheartening, but thankfully I kept going with it. Obviously it's doing me quite good, but I found that really difficult because it was somebody that I thought I should look up to, and somebody that was quite a renowned artist in his time as well. So that was quite a difficult thing for me. Even though my profile might have grown, I don't really exhibit in art galleries. I exhibit in shopping centres and hospitals and the street, literally anywhere. And I try to go into schools as often as I can and chat to children about the accessibility of art and how it should be made with anything and everything. So yeah, it's quite a difficult one to answer really, but the only thing I've ever really come up against is people within the art world saying that my art is too pop culture, it's too commercial, it's too this and that, but I know that it has made a difference from the messages I've received, and that's enough to keep me going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Just one here. I came a little bit late, so I might not have heard, but like, where did your inspiration come from, and how do you manage to find the time to fit that in with work?
Yeah. So I'm thankfully very grateful that this has now become my full-time work, so I don't have to worry about fitting it in. More than anything, I have to fit in sleeping around creating so much work. It's kind of one of those things where your hobby becomes your job, and then there's been times where it's felt like a job, but then also times where, like now, where I can remember the benefits, the amazing benefits of it.